Carmen Brooks stepped into the towering glass building of Sterling Ideas Company, one of the most prestigious marketing firms in the city. Her heart swelled with excitement and determination. This was her dream job. She had spent years proving herself, long nights, endless projects, and a relentless drive to succeed. Now she had finally secured a position in a company that could take her career to new heights. But she knew the challenges that came with it. As one of the few Black professionals in the company, Carmen had heard whispers about how Sterling Ideas wasn't exactly known for its diversity. She had also heard rumors about Victor Crane, the firm's EO, a man respected in the industry but feared within his own office. People said he was harsh, demanding, and cruel to those he didn't respect. Carmen didn't let that intimidate her. She had overcome worse, but nothing could have prepared her for what was about to happen. From the very first week, Carmen noticed the difference in how she was treated. While her white colleagues received warm welcomes, mentorship, and opportunities, she was given routine assignments, overlooked in meetings, and dismissed when she tried to contribute. She told herself she just had to work harder, prove her worth, and let her talent speak for itself. But Victor Crane made sure that wasn't enough. During meetings, he barely acknowledged her. If she spoke, he either ignored her completely or made sarcastic remarks in front of the team. "Let's leave the untested theories to amateurs," he had said once when she presented a campaign idea, an idea that would later be praised when repeated by a white colleague. She could feel the unspoken judgment in the office. People whispered. Some colleagues gave her sympathetic looks, but never spoke up. Others joined in Victor's quiet mockery, laughing at his passive-aggressive remarks. She swallowed her frustration and kept pushing forward. Then came the project that changed everything. Weeks of sleepless nights had gone into this major client pitch. This was Carmen's chance to prove herself, to show that she belonged here. She had poured her heart into the campaign, crafting data-driven strategies, bold visuals, and innovative ideas. If this landed well, it would be a game changer for both her career and the company. The morning of the presentation, Carmen double-checked everything. She was ready, but Victor Crane had other plans. Minutes before the meeting, he stormed into her office, his face twisted with anger. In his hand, he held the printed version of her presentation. "What is this garbage?" he hissed, waving the papers in the air. Carmen froze. "Sir, that's the campaign strategy Did you even put real thought into this? Or are we just relying on showmanship?" She felt the weight of every stare in the office as the tension in the room thickened. "Mr. Crane, I reviewed this multiple times. If there are concerns, I'm open to your input." Victor's eyes darkened. He stepped closer, his voice dripping with condescension. "Input? This isn't a classroom, Carmen. It's a place for professionals. And this is a joke." The room fell silent. Then, it happened. Victor lifted his hand and slapped Carmen across the face. A sharp gasp echoed through the office. Papers fluttered to the floor. The sting burned her cheek, but something deeper ignited inside her. A fire she had suppressed for too long. She lifted her head slowly, her gaze meeting his with icy resolve. Then she slapped him back. The sound rang through the office. Everyone froze. Victor's face twisted in shock and rage. Carmen stood tall, her voice calm but unshakable. "You will never put your hands on me, or anyone else again." Then she pulled out her phone and dialed the police. "I'd like to report an assault in the workplace." Within minutes, 2 police officers arrived. Employees gathered, whispering in hushed tones. Some recorded the moment on their phones. Victor tried to play it off. "This is ridiculous. She's overreacting," he snapped. "She disrespected me first." But his confidence cracked when Carmen requested the security footage. The video showed everything: his aggressive stance, the slap, and her standing firm in defiance. The officers didn't hesitate. They handcuffed Victor Crane in front of the entire office. As they led him away, he turned to Carmen, his face contorted with fury. "You've ruined everything!" he spat. You'll never work in this industry again. Carmen met his glare with calm certainty. I'd rather defend my dignity than live in fear. For the first time, he looked afraid. Victor Crane's arrest sent shockwaves through the corporate world. News outlets picked up the story, labeling him as the CEO who crossed the line. Employees, both past and present, came forward with stories of mistreatment, intimidation, and outright harassment. Some spoke anonymously, while others, inspired by Carmen's courage, chose to be seen and heard. For years, Victor had built his reputation as a marketing genius, but now the world saw him for what he truly was, a tyrant who thrived on fear. Sterling Ideas Company scrambled for damage control. Board members issued a public statement, condemning Victor's actions and announcing immediate changes: mandatory workplace harassment training for all employees, an anonymous reporting system for misconduct, diversity and inclusion initiatives to address biases in leadership. But Carmen wasn't impressed. It shouldn't have taken a scandal for them to care. Still, she knew this wasn't just about one man's downfall. It was about changing the system. Carmen's next chapter. Instead of fading into the background, Carmen stepped into the spotlight. She spoke at industry conferences, sharing her story with professionals from around the world. She emphasized how silence enables injustice and how one voice can spark change. She sat on news panels, debating corporate ethics and workplace harassment policies. She founded a mentorship program for young professionals of color entering the corporate world, giving them resources, guidance, and a community that supported them. One night, as she sat in her apartment scrolling through emails, one message caught her attention. It was from a young Black woman who had just started in marketing. I almost quit my job today. My boss constantly overlooks me, dismisses my ideas, and acts like I don't belong. But then I read about you, and I realized I don't have to stay silent. Because of you, I know I belong in this field. Thank you for showing us we don't have to be afraid. Carmen felt a lump in her throat as she reread the words. This was bigger than her. She wasn't just fighting for her own respect. She was fighting for every person who had ever been belittled, dismissed, or mistreated in the workplace. She leaned back in her chair, exhaling slowly. Her fight wasn't over. It had just begun.